I remember when the triathlon took off, right? Sort of the early to mid-1990s, phenomenal growth for triathlons. It continues, I know, the sport continues to draw people, but it does have competition. How do you keep triathlons out front?
Well, I think that we have to continue to capture the imagination of athletes. Ironman is the hardest one-day endurance event in the world. It's achievable for anyone, but it's an enormous commitment. It's a huge accomplishment. It requires sacrifice, and it requires people to want to embrace the challenge of preparing and racing.
Who wants to do that? Who wants, I mean, I don't know if people can really fathom the amount of training and commitment it takes just to swim 2.4 miles alone competitively, let alone, right, bike for more than a century and then run a marathon.
Andrew, the key word you just used was athlete. I think that's the point, right? It's athlete. These guys that go and do these kind of triathlons, they live for it. If I want to get a group of friends together and go and do Tough Mudder at the weekend, maybe I haven't done any trading for it. We're going to have a few drinks and we're going to go out and have some fun. Is that the key difference here?
It's a huge difference. So anyone can do an Ironman. And if you go to any of our Ironman races anywhere in the world, you will see people in their 70s, you will see people who are 250 pounds.
But most of them look like this, right? They're wealthy, they're not quite middle-aged, and they're well-educated.
Absolutely. And they're deeply engaged in the pursuit, in the accomplishment. And it is a lifeless achievement for people to...
A bucket list kind of thing, right?
It is, because it's that hard. And so people sacrifice, people work enormously hard, they take it really seriously, and the kind of people who do that in general in their lives tend to be really successful people.
How do you grow this sport? It doesn't just take commitment, it takes dough. Just the cycling part is going to require you're spending several $1,000s on a frame, the componentry, a couple of grand on the wheels at the very least. And that might not make you competitive with the folks who are riding even better bikes.
Well, you can spend as much as you want to on anything, right?
This is true.
And so you could do an Ironman on a $1,000 bike. You could do an Ironman on a $20,000 bike. It depends on how much you want to spend on the bike.
But these people are obsessed with performance.
Absolutely.
And if you can shave seconds or even minutes off of your performance by spending more money on your equipment, you will.
Yeah, they do. They do for sure.
He says with a knowing smile.
You've seen the sign-up and how quickly people sign up to this, but what I want to see is, are these first-timers, or do you actually see a lot of repeat business when they sign up for this event?
We see a lot of repeat business. So about 40% of people at a full-distance Ironman race, at one of our 37 races around the world, about 40% of those are doing an Ironman for the first time. Most of those people have done shorter distance races, often with us. But on average, people do a race and a half with us each year. So we have a lot of new people, but there's a lot of people who stay and who stay with us for the lifestyle and because of what it does for them.
And Andrew, how is this a business? How does Ironman generate revenue? And I should remind everybody, of course, that you're owned by private equity, right? Providence Equity Partners is the company that, or the private equity firm that owns Ironman.
We've been owned by Providence for about just over 5 years now, and we've had a great support from them and a great partnership. Our revenue is just over half of it comes from athlete registration fees. About a quarter of it comes from sponsorship, and the rest comes from licensing. And we have a merchandise business and some other media and some other streams. But the core of our business is around athletes registering for and competing in races.
And when you look at competition, how easy is it for me to go and start an Ironman?
It's easy for you to start it.
That's the problem.
Getting someone to sign up for it is a different story. And so of the 40 largest long-distance triathlon races in the world, 37 of them are ours. There's one race in Germany, there's 2 races in Japan, and besides that, pretty much every long-distance triathlon in the world is Ironman branded.
Andrew, how many have you done?
I've done 3 full distance.
3 full Ironmans?
Yeah, and 10 70-point.
And you live to tell the tale?
I live to tell the tale.
Who are you marketing to? How do you grow the sport? How do you broaden its appeal so that it is less rich, less white, more inclusive, more international?
Well, international is something that we've spent a huge amount of time on. We have more than half of our races, 2/3 of our races, are outside of North America. We put the 2015 version of Ironman Brazil on sale last week. It sold out in 16 minutes.
Really?
And that race is 80% Brazilians.